If you shop at Costco, your future trips to the warehouse might feel a little different.
Your next trip to Costco might involve more than just grabbing bulk deals. While you're filling your cart with everyday items, some of those products contain ingredients that Europe refuses to allow on store shelves. If you're over 60, this matters even more because your body processes these substances differently than it did decades ago. Today, we're exposing what's hiding in plain sight at America's favorite warehouse store. Walking through Costco feels like stepping into a wonderland of savings. Those massive aisles packed with everything from fresh bread to cleaning supplies represent convenience and value. But here's what most shoppers don't realize. Many of these products would never make it past European regulators. The gap between what America allows and what Europe bans keeps growing wider, and the difference isn't just about preference or culture. It comes down to how each region answers a basic question. Should we wait for definitive proof that something harms people? Or should we be cautious when early warning signs appear? The United States Food and Drug Administration operates on a system where manufacturers can declare ingredients safe through something called generally recognized as safe status. Companies essentially vouch for their own products with limited government oversight before hitting store shelves. Meanwhile, the European Food Safety Authority maintains what they call a positive list, meaning only specifically approved substances can be used. Think of it this way. In America, ingredients are innocent until proven guilty. In Europe, they need permission slips before entering the food supply. This fundamental difference explains why over 10,000 chemicals appear in American food products, while Europe permits only around 300. For cosmetics and household products, the numbers get even more stark. Europe has banned over 1,400 chemicals in beauty products. America has banned just 11. The first major item on our countdown at number 10 involves something you probably grab without thinking twice: bread. Potassium bromate gets added to dough to make it rise higher and give it that perfect fluffy texture. Bakers started using it back in the 1920s because it made their job easier and their products more consistent. Europe banned this ingredient in 1990 after studies on animals showed it caused tumors in kidneys and thyroids. The International Agency for Research on Cancer labeled it as possibly carcinogenic to humans. But walk into Costco today and you might find it in some baked goods, rolls, or certain bread brands on the shelves. The FDA argues that baking temperatures break down most of the bromate, leaving only trace amounts. However, research shows these traces can still damage DNA in liver and intestine cells. For seniors, this becomes particularly concerning because your body's natural repair mechanisms slow down with age. The cells that would normally fix DNA damage work less efficiently, potentially raising risks for colorectal or stomach cancers over time. Repeated exposure might also lead to kidney damage or chronic bronchitis. Your best move: look for organic bread options at Costco or check labels for ascorbic acid, which companies use as a safer alternative to strengthen dough. Coming in at number 9, we need to talk about something that makes candy look bright white and vitamins appear more appealing. Titanium dioxide has been used since the 1960s as a whitening agent. These tiny particles, sometimes at the nanoscale, can cross cellular barriers in ways larger molecules cannot. Europe banned titanium dioxide from food in 2022 after their safety authority couldn't rule out potential DNA damage and inflammation. In the United States, it still carries that generally recognized as safe designation. You'll find it in Kirkland brand multivitamins, protein powders, candies like Skittles, and various gums at Costco. For older adults, the concern centers on accumulation. These nanoparticles don't break down easily, and studies suggest they might build up in organs over time. Research has pointed to potential neurotoxicity, problems with immune function, and promotion of cancer development. Animal studies show strain on the liver and kidneys. The FDA maintains there's no concern at the levels found in food, but critics argue we don't have enough long-term data on humans. Natural alternatives exist, things like beet powder or other plant-based colorants that Costco carries in some organic product lines. At number 8, those colorful treats that catch your eye in the snack aisle hide a controversial secret. Artificial dyes like Red 40, Yellow 5, and Yellow 6 come from petroleum. They've been making food look more appealing since the 19th century when they were derived from coal tar. Europe doesn't completely ban these dyes, but products containing them must carry warnings about potential links to hyperactivity in children. The FDA just banned Red 3 in 2025 after finding it caused thyroid tumors, but Red 40 and others remain perfectly legal. You'll spot these dyes in Costco's fruit snacks, certain yogurt brands, breakfast cereals, and Pop-Tarts. A major study in 2007 from Southampton linked these dyes to attention and hyperactivity issues in kids. But what about seniors? First, allergic reactions become more common with age. Second, the impurities in these synthetic dyes carry potential carcinogenic properties. Third, cumulative exposure over decades might contribute to cognitive decline that already happens naturally with aging. Some research suggests these compounds affect neurotransmitter function in ways that could worsen memory issues. States like California have started banning these dyes in schools, even though federal regulations allow them everywhere else. Costco does stock dye-free options, particularly in their natural and organic sections. Reading labels takes an extra minute, but it helps you avoid unnecessary exposure. Number 7 takes us back to the bread aisle, but this time for a different chemical. Azotocarbonamide works as a bleaching agent that's been used since the 1960s. When it breaks down during baking, it forms urethane, which is a known carcinogen. Europe banned it for genotoxicity concerns. Americans got more aware of this ingredient when news spread that it's also used in yoga mats and shoe rubber, leading to the yoga mat chemical scandal that pushed some companies to remove it. You might still encounter it in breads and rolls at Costco. The FDA limits it to 45 parts per million, arguing that's a safe threshold. For seniors, even small exposures to carcinogens add up over a lifetime. Your cells have already accumulated decades of environmental stressors, and adding more doesn't help. The safer choice: products made with unbleached flour, which Costco carries in abundance. At number 6, we're looking at preservatives that have been around since 1947. BHA and BHT extend shelf life by preventing fats from going rancid. Europe restricts these because studies link them to endocrine disruption, meaning they mess with your hormones. You'll find them in chips, cereals, and various packaged snacks at Costco. In animal studies, these preservatives cause tumors and affected reproductive organs like the sperm and uterus. For seniors, hormone balance becomes increasingly delicate with age. Your endocrine system already faces natural changes, and compounds that disrupt it further can affect everything from metabolism to mood to bone density. Women past menopause and men dealing with age-related hormone shifts face particular vulnerability. The FDA maintains these preservatives are safe in small doses, but the EU takes the precautionary route. Fresh foods or products preserved through other methods offer better options. Coming in at number 5, we need to discuss what's in your milk, beef, and pork. Recombinant bovine growth hormone, or RBGH, has been banned across Europe since 1989 over cancer concerns. American dairy farmers and ranchers use it to increase milk production and meat yield. Costco sells both conventional hormone-treated beef and pork alongside their organic options. The worry stems from increased levels of insulin like growth factor 1, which research has linked to breast, prostate, and colorectal cancers. These are hormone-dependent cancers that become more common as people age. Your risk factors already climb with each passing decade, and adding hormone residues from food doesn't help matters. Seniors dealing with family histories of these cancers face even higher stakes. The good news: Kirkland brand organic meats provide hormone-free alternatives at competitive prices. Yes, they cost more per pound, but the investment in long-term health might prove worthwhile. At number 4, another meat issue deserves attention. Ractopamine acts as a beta agonist that makes animals grow leaner meat faster. Europe banned it due to concerns about cardiovascular strain. It's used in American pork and beef production, including some meat sold at Costco. The drug works by mimicking adrenaline, which raises heart rate and affects blood pressure. For seniors already managing heart conditions, high blood pressure, or taking cardiovascular medications, adding a compound that stresses the heart makes little sense. Studies on ractopamine show it can cause increased heart rates, palpitations, and anxiety in humans exposed to it. While residues in meat are supposed to be minimal, the question becomes whether any amount is worth the risk when safer alternatives exist. Looking for meat labeled as not containing beta agonists or choosing organic options eliminates this concern entirely. Number 3 brings us to chicken, specifically how it gets cleaned. The chlorine wash controversy doesn't involve a full ban in Europe, but they refuse American chicken treated this way over hygiene and animal welfare concerns. American poultry producers wash chicken carcasses in chlorine solutions to kill bacteria like salmonella. Europe argues this masks poor hygiene practices during raising and slaughtering, whereas they prefer preventing contamination in the first place. The chlorine residue levels compare to what's in tap water, so immediate toxicity isn't the issue. However, for seniors with compromised immune systems or sensitivity to chemical exposures, even low-level residues raise questions. Some research suggests chlorine byproducts might have long-term health implications. More importantly, the practice might correlate with higher initial bacterial loads that the chlorine wash attempts to address. Choosing organic or air-chilled chicken at Costco offers an alternative, though at higher prices. At number 2, we move beyond food to something sitting in Costco's garden section. Roundup weed killer contains chemicals like diquat dibromide and imazepyc that Europe has banned due to high toxicity concerns. These substances can cause paralysis, organ damage, and even blindness with significant exposure. Seniors using weed killers face risks from skin contact and inhalation. As we age, our skin becomes thinner and more permeable, allowing chemicals to absorb more easily. Our lungs also become more sensitive to irritants. The liver and kidneys, which process and eliminate toxins, work less efficiently in older adults. This means chemicals stay in your system longer and potentially cause more damage. Court cases have linked glyphosate, another ingredient in Roundup, to cancer in users who applied it regularly. While scientific consensus remains divided, European regulators decided the potential risks outweigh the benefits. Natural alternatives for weed control exist, from vinegar-based sprays to manual removal. Costco does carry some organic gardening products, though their Roundup section remains prominent. And finally, at number 1, let's talk about what's in personal care products. The Kirkland brand lotions and various cosmetics sold at Costco might contain parabens and PFAS chemicals that Europe has banned from beauty products. Parabens act as preservatives, but they mimic estrogen in the body, leading to hormone disruption concerns. PFAS chemicals, nicknamed forever chemicals because they don't break down in nature or in your body, accumulate over time. For senior women, estrogen-mimicking compounds raise particular concerns around breast cancer risk. For senior men, these compounds might affect prostate health. Forever chemicals have been linked to liver damage, immune system problems, and cancer. Your body has likely accumulated some level of these chemicals already from decades of environmental exposure. Adding more through daily lotion application doesn't make sense when alternatives exist. Europe banned over 1,400 chemicals from cosmetics, while America has banned only 11. Reading ingredient labels on personal care products takes time, but Costco does stock cleaner options in their organic and natural sections. Beyond these specific items, Costco's produce section presents another layer of complexity. Pesticides like neonicotinoids and chlorpyrifos remain legal in American agriculture despite European bans. These chemicals act as nerve agents, originally developed from chemical warfare research. Chlorpyrifos in particular has clear neurotoxic effects. For seniors already facing natural cognitive decline, exposure to neurotoxic pesticides accelerates problems with memory, coordination, and mental processing. The developing brain gets most of the attention in pesticide research, but the aging brain deserves consideration too. Your neurons don't regenerate like they did when you were younger, and damage from toxic exposures becomes harder to reverse. Costco has committed to reducing pesticide use among their suppliers and promoting organic options. Choosing organic produce, especially for items on the dirty dozen list like strawberries, spinach, and apples, minimizes exposure. Cooking sprays present yet another consideration. The propellants used in American cooking sprays, things like butane and propane, face tighter regulations in Europe. While not fully banned, their use gets scrutinized more carefully. For seniors with respiratory conditions like COPD or asthma, inhaling these propellants while cooking can trigger symptoms. The aerosol particles reach deep into lungs that may already be compromised. Switching to pump spray bottles or simply using a small amount of regular oil eliminates this concern. The preservatives in Costco's dried fruits deserve mention too. Sulfur dioxide keeps fruits looking fresh and colorful, but it can trigger severe reactions in people with asthma or sulfite sensitivity. Sensitivities often develop or worsen with age. Europe requires clear labeling and limits on sulfites. America allows them more freely. If you experience headaches, breathing difficulties, or digestive upset after eating dried fruit, sulfites might be the culprit. Unsulfured dried fruit costs more and looks browner, but it avoids this issue entirely. Carrageenan shows up in many Costco products, from protein powders to almond milk. This seaweed-derived thickener isn't banned in Europe, but concerns exist about inflammation and digestive problems. Research links it to inflammatory bowel conditions, ulcers, and immune responses. Seniors already deal with increased inflammation as a normal part of aging. Chronic low-grade inflammation contributes to heart disease, arthritis, diabetes, and cognitive decline. Adding inflammatory compounds through food seems counterproductive. The European Food Safety Authority considers it safe at low levels, but some researchers disagree about what constitutes a safe level. Products without carrageenan provide alternatives. Artificial sweeteners like sucralose appear throughout Costco's protein bars, sugar-free products, and diet foods. While approved in Europe, concerns keep mounting about gut health impacts. Your gut microbiome, the collection of bacteria living in your intestines, plays crucial roles in immunity, mood, metabolism, and overall health. Research shows artificial sweeteners can alter this microbiome in harmful ways. For seniors, maintaining a healthy gut becomes increasingly important as natural diversity in gut bacteria declines with age. Some studies also suggest artificial sweeteners might affect insulin response and blood sugar control, concerns for anyone managing or trying to prevent diabetes. Natural sweeteners like stevia, or just reducing overall sweetness in your diet, makes more sense. The aflatoxin situation in peanut butter illustrates different tolerance philosophies. Aflatoxins are toxic compounds produced by mold that grows on peanuts and other crops. They're highly carcinogenic, particularly affecting the liver. Europe maintains essentially zero tolerance for aflatoxins in food. America sets allowable limits, arguing that completely eliminating them is impossible and the permitted levels remain safe. Kirkland peanut butter tests within American limits, but those limits still allow some aflatoxin presence. For seniors, especially those who consume peanut butter regularly or have any liver concerns, this adds up. Your liver, which processes toxins, becomes less efficient with age. Chronic hepatitis, fatty liver disease, and cirrhosis become more common in older adults. Adding a known liver carcinogen, even in small amounts, increases risk. Choosing organic peanut butter or rotating between different nut butters reduces concentrated exposure. The regulatory philosophies behind these differences matter for understanding your choices. America's approach prioritizes innovation and economic freedom. The burden of proof lies on showing definitive harm before restricting a substance. This allows faster market entry for new products and ingredients. Europe's precautionary principle flips this. If reasonable concern exists based on preliminary evidence, restrictions get implemented even before conclusive proof emerges. Neither system is perfect. America's approach might expose people to harmful substances for years before enough evidence accumulates to force a ban. Europe's approach might restrict useful innovations based on preliminary findings that don't hold up under further scrutiny. For you as a shopper, this means America allows more substances, putting greater responsibility on you to read labels and make informed choices. Recent trends show some movement toward alignment. California banned several artificial dyes in 2023 and 2024, specifically in school cafeterias. The FDA revoked approval for brominated vegetable oil in 2024 after years of pressure. Some advocates, including political figures like Robert F. Kennedy Jr., have pushed for major FDA reforms to align more closely with European standards. Whether these efforts succeed remains uncertain, but they indicate growing awareness that the current American system might need updating. For practical shopping at Costco, several strategies help minimize exposure to problematic ingredients. First, prioritize organic options when available. Yes, they cost more, but the price difference often matters less at a warehouse store than at conventional grocery stores. Second, read ingredient lists rather than just trusting front label claims. Terms like natural, healthy, or made with real fruit don't guarantee the absence of questionable additives. Third, focus on whole foods rather than heavily processed items. Fresh produce, plain meats, simple dairy products, and basic grains contain fewer additives by nature. Fourth, use the Kirkland Organic line as a default option for packaged goods. Costco's private label organic products often match quality with national brands at better prices. Fifth, consider the Environmental Working Group's resources, which rate products and ingredients for safety concerns. Their website and app can help you make quick decisions while shopping. The health implications for seniors extend beyond individual ingredients to cumulative exposure. Your body has spent decades encountering environmental toxins, from air pollution to pesticide residues to additives in food. This lifetime accumulation, called body burden, means every additional exposure matters more than it would for a younger person. Your body's detoxification systems, primarily the liver and kidneys, slow down with age. You eliminate toxins less efficiently. Your cell's DNA repair mechanisms work less effectively. Your immune system becomes less able to identify and eliminate abnormal cells that might turn cancerous. Chronic inflammation increases, making you more susceptible to harm from inflammatory compounds. All these age-related changes mean that substances deemed safe for the general population might pose higher risks specifically for older adults. Specific health conditions common in seniors multiply concerns. If you're managing diabetes, compounds that affect blood sugar or insulin response become more problematic. If you have cardiovascular disease, anything that stresses the heart or blood vessels deserves extra caution. If you've had cancer or have strong family history, avoiding potential carcinogens becomes more critical. If you deal with digestive issues like IBS or inflammatory bowel disease, additives that irritate the gut merit elimination. If you take multiple medications, as many seniors do, potential interactions between drugs and food additives add another layer of complexity. The social and practical aspects of shopping also matter. Many seniors do their primary shopping at Costco because bulk buying makes sense on fixed incomes. The membership fee pays for itself through savings on staples. However, navigating the warehouse layout with mobility challenges, reading small label text with aging eyes, and processing conflicting information about food safety can feel overwhelming. Having a clear strategy helps. Make a list of products you know work for you. Take time in store to examine new items carefully rather than rushing. Consider shopping during less busy hours when you can move and think more easily. Ask for help from staff if you need items from high shelves or clarification about ingredients. Talking with your doctor about these concerns makes sense, though many physicians lack detailed knowledge about food additives. Bring specific questions about ingredients that worry you based on your health conditions. Ask whether any of your medications have known interactions with common food additives. Discuss whether your symptoms, things like headaches, digestive problems, skin issues, or cognitive difficulties, might connect to dietary factors. Some doctors dismiss food additive concerns as overblown, while others take them seriously. If yours falls in the dismissive camp, but you remain concerned, seeking a second opinion or consulting with a nutritionist who specializes in seniors' health could provide valuable guidance. The financial consideration deserves acknowledgement. Organic products, cleaner ingredient formulations, and specialty items cost more. For seniors on tight budgets, prioritizing becomes necessary. Focus spending on the items consumed most frequently or in largest quantities. If you eat bread daily, investing in better bread makes sense. If you rarely use cooking spray, the conventional version might not matter much. If you have specific health vulnerabilities, like a cancer history, prioritizing organic meat matters more than for someone without that risk. Making gradual transitions rather than overhauling everything at once spreads costs over time and allows you to evaluate what differences you notice. Understanding that perfect cannot become the enemy of good helps maintain perspective. You cannot avoid every potentially problematic substance unless you grow and make everything yourself, which few people can do. The goal isn't achieving zero exposure to everything questionable. The goal involves reducing unnecessary exposures where practical while still enjoying food and maintaining quality of life. Stressing excessively about every ingredient can harm health through anxiety, just as much as the ingredients themselves might. Finding a balanced approach that gives you peace of mind without constant worry serves you better than either ignoring all concerns or becoming obsessive about them. The European bans don't necessarily mean every restricted substance will definitely harm you. Many factors influence whether a substance causes problems: dose, frequency, individual susceptibility, combination effects with other exposures, and more. Some people might consume these ingredients for years with no apparent issues. Others might experience problems quickly. Your genetics, overall health status, and lifestyle all play roles in how your body handles various substances. The bans reflect Europe's choice to err on the side of caution when evidence suggests possible harm, even without absolute proof. This approach protects the most vulnerable people in a population, which includes seniors. Looking ahead, the landscape will likely continue evolving. More research emerges constantly about long-studied additives as well as newer ones. Public awareness and pressure influence regulatory decisions. Economic factors, like the cost of reformulating products or the competitive advantage of cleaner labels, push companies toward changes regardless of regulations. State-level actions, as seen in California, might eventually force federal reforms. International trade agreements and consumer expectations in global markets create incentives for American manufacturers to meet European standards even if not required domestically. These trends suggest that over time, the gap between American and European food safety standards might narrow, though exactly how and when remains uncertain. Your next Costco trip doesn't have to become an anxious ordeal. Armed with information about what to watch for and strategies for making better choices, you can navigate the warehouse confidently. The bulk buying that makes Costco appealing works in your favor when you find products that meet your standards, since stocking up on safe options saves repeated decisions. Building a mental or written list of your go-to items streamlines future shopping. Over time, better choices become habits rather than constant deliberations. Sharing information with family and friends who shop for you or with you can extend these benefits. Many seniors rely partly on adult children or spouses for shopping and meal preparation. If others don't understand your concerns about ingredients, they might unknowingly bring home problematic items. Having conversations about why you prefer certain products helps everyone get on the same page. Some family members might dismiss these concerns as unnecessary worry, while others might become overly alarmed. Framing it as reasonable caution based on regulatory differences rather than paranoia about poisoning can help strike the right tone. The choice of where to shop matters too. Costco offers certain advantages, especially organic options at competitive prices, and the Kirkland brand's commitment to quality. However, other stores might excel in different areas. Trader Joe's eliminates many questionable additives from their products by policy. Whole Foods sets high standards for what they carry. Local farmers' markets provide access to food grown without synthetic pesticides. Natural food stores often stock specialty items for people with sensitivities. Using a combination of shopping venues, getting bulk staples from Costco while supplementing with fresher or cleaner items elsewhere can work well. Those colorful aisles at Costco represent more than just deals and convenience. They reflect a complex system of regulations, industry practices, scientific understanding, and consumer choices. As someone in your senior years, you've earned the right to make informed decisions about what goes into your body. Europe's stricter standards offer a roadmap for what might be possible, even if America hasn't adopted the same approach. Understanding these differences empowers you to take control of your health through daily decisions about what ends up in your shopping cart and ultimately on your plate.